Any techniques here that I could use? Lauren, what's up?
I thought you could plug them in, like not the values, the actual equation, but since it's 2x.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, but not here. No. Other ways here?
You could like make it equal to 0 and then solve it that way.
Okay, that's what I'm asking, Nate, is how to solve it. Like you get it equal to 0. Okay, what's the method now you're going to try to get x? Okay, so one method is I could try to factor it. Okay, you could try that. There's one way. Perfect. Now we're starting to roll. What's another method of trying to solve for x? Say if factoring is not your best way to do it. There's 2 other methods. That's why you have your reference sheet out. Quadratic formula. This, guys, quadratic formula, you can use anytime. There's not a bad time to use quadratic formula. Never a bad time. And then another method you learned last year, I think, or maybe actually in Algebra 1.
Square?
Yep. Complete the square. All right. We're not going to factor it. And the reason is you can't. Plus, also, if you look at your choices, 3 and 4 are probably saying don't factor because do you ever get these out when you factor? No. So probably not factoring. And could you complete the square? Yes, you could, but I probably avoid it here. Here's why. Do you remember what the a value had to be when you complete the square? 1. A value's got to be 1. So you would have to divide everything by what here first? 3, and that's going to get pretty sloppy here. So I would probably avoid complete the square. So we are going to use quadratic formula. It is on your reference sheet. It does not need to be memorized. All right. X equals negative b plus or minus square root. Right off your reference sheet. Does not have to be memorized. Over 2a. Here we go. We're going to do it all together. A mentioned before, if you're going to quadratic formula, you got to make sure it's equal to 0 first. So move the 7 over, everyone, before we start. All right, here we go. X equals, what's your b value up here? Hopefully we can, I don't have to reteach you this one. What's your b value? 2, so when I plug it in, it'll be negative 2 plus or minus. Now, hey, I am going to keep this blank, and I'll show you why in a second, because that is the biggest place kids mess up on is underneath the radical. I'm going to leave it blank. Over 2 times, what's your a value up here? 3, so you'll have a 6 in the denominator. We all good there? Okay. You will never, ever get that number wrong underneath the radical if you store A, B, and C in your calculator. Okay? If you want to try to be a hero and try to plug it in yourself and do the calculation yourself, fine, go ahead. I get nervous, though. All right? I want a guaranteed way that I can get that number correct. So everyone ready? Go to your calculator, which should be turned on right now. What's my A value? So I'm going to take 3, store it. You guys see above your math button, the letter A? Okay, alpha math. Store it in. What's your B value? 2. 2. Store that in. Everyone see B. It's right next to A, to the right, above apps. And your C value? 7. Store it. C's right next to B. Now you're going to ask the calculator to do b squared minus 4ac. That's literally what you're going to type in. B, your squared or raised to the second, whatever you use, minus 4ac. You can't get that number wrong. I'll wait till everyone does it because I'm tired of people being lazy in here. Tired of it. Negative 80? Okay. I don't know. Could you have gotten that just by plugging in yourself? Sure, maybe. I don't know. But at least I know, I'm pretty confident I got that right. All right, that's far from done, right? That is far from done. Because that is not one of our choices up there. So let's keep going. -2 plus or minus. You guys remember from Algebra 2A last year. If I take this negative and put it on the outside, what's it become? Yes, I. Radical 80 over 6. If we were taking this exam right now, you could probably just stop and you know which one it's going to be because there's only one choice up there with an I. But it's easily could be a part 3 question where you got to keep going all the way. So let's go. What do you think my next job is here? There's still a lot to be done here. What do you think my next job is going to be? Simplify 80. Correct. So here we go. Biggest perfect square that goes into 80. It's not 4. There's something bigger than 4. 10 and 8 aren't perfect squares. 16 times 5. Make sure you guys know your perfect squares there. So 80 breaks down into 4 radical 5. Replace it now. -2 plus or minus 4i. Don't forget about the I. Radical 5 all over 6. You still wouldn't get full credit because you still got something to do here. Still wouldn't get full credit. What do you see? And that still has to be done. Simplify. Now, hey, remember, the 6 goes to each side of the plus or minus. So ready? I'm just going to cover this. -2 over 6. -1 over 3. Now, the 6 has not disappeared. 4 over 6. 2i radical 5 over 3. The 6 applies to both sides, and that's where that choice 3, that's why it's my answer. Guys, good there? We all set? I got a bunch today. Let's go. Everyone good? All right, next up. I'll let you read through the next one. Yep, 10. Here we go. Here you go with 10. I'll let you read through it. This is something we did this year. There's one word up there. If you know what it is and what it means, this problem is pretty easy. Very easy. No math involved. We did this in our sequence and series unit. There it is, recursive. Recursive. It came in 2 parts. If you write a recursive formula, it comes in 2 parts. Anybody remember either part? When you write a recursive formula, it comes in 2 parts. Anybody remember either part? Initial value, first value. You got to have the first term. Got to have the first term and rule involving the previous term. And you guys remember how we used to write the previous term? Remember how we used to write it? Because this is the key to the whole problem right here. A with what subscript? There you go. Guys, there's only one recursive formula up there. There you go. Get it up high. There we go. Thank you. There's only one recursive formula up here. And that is? Yep. That's it. Just know what a recursive is, and you got this problem right. Okay, good. I'm done. I'm going to go quick on some problems, slower on others. 12. Which one's equal to that? Which multiple choice is equal to the original? Now, could you plug in numbers for x and see which one's equal to multiple choice? Sure, you could. Remember, we always have that. You can always store in a number for x, see what the original is. and then see which multiple choice matches it. I gotta help you solve this though. All right. Notice how these are all radicals and these are all exponents. Okay, dig deep from last year. Do we remember how to make a radical into an exponent? Here you go, ready? So you got your radical. This may have an exponent, E for exponent. And anybody remember what the number is called in here? Index. So I'm going to put that as an I. Anybody remember how to convert it? X raised to the, well, no, don't forget my problem here. Right here, X to the, it's a fraction. Oh, using my letters here. E over I. Exponent over index. Exponent over index. There's a lot we got to review from last year. Okay, so now I need your help rewriting all of these. How do I rewrite that as an exponent? X to the, use my rule here, use my rule. X to the 2/3 times, all right, be careful here. Be careful. X to the, no.
X to the 5 over 2.
No, remember, this is a square root, right? No number in the index, it's a 2. So it's 5 not over 1, 5 over 2. It's a square root. And then what about the bottom? X to the 1/6. Perfect. Now this gives us an opportunity to talk about exponent rules. Multiply. What am I doing with the exponents? Add them. Go ahead. That's why you got calculators. 2/3 plus 5/2 in the calculator. That'll be x to the what? 2/3 plus 5/2. 19 over 6. Nice. Over x to the 1/6. All right. New exponent rule. Divide. Subtract them. 19/6 minus that 1/6. And we end up with, what do we have? Where'd the 3 come from, though? 18 over 6, right? Which reduces down to, yes, x to the 3rd. Okay. If you want a way to remember this, sure, all of us listen to some type of music. I don't know, this guy might be a little too in the past for you, but Nelly, he sang a song. He sang a song, how to remember this. The song's called EI. Why don't you take a look at it? That's how you can remember this, EI. E over I. All right? It's a pretty good tune. Used to listen to it in the club back in the day. All right?
Oh, curtains.
26. I'm going to a part 2 question now, because this relates to what we just finished. No multiple choice here. Have to show your work. You guys see they give you fractions and now you got to leave it in radical form. So now I'm going the other direction from the last problem. Before I do any radicals here, can you clean this up anymore before I do any radicals? Do you think you can clean this up? Is there still more work to do before you bust out the radicals? Where? In the numerator or the denominator? You think there's more work to do? Yeah, you see parentheses and an exponent out on the outside. There's more work to do in the denominator. What am I going to do with that 1/4? What can I do with that 1/4? I'm going to apply it not only to the x to the 4th, to the 16 as well. So what you're doing in your calculator right now is 16 to the 1/4, and let me know what that ends up being. 16 to the 1/4, 2. And now, last exponent rule. You multiply, you divide. What happens when you take an exponent and raise it to another? Like, what do I do with these two bad boys right there? Multiply them, yes. So 4 times a 4th. And that ends up being 1. Perfect. So I get 2x in the bottom. Keep cleaning it up. I'm listening. Oh, no. I can't get rid of the 2 and the x. I can get rid of the 2's. But you can do what with the 3/2 and the 1? What's our rule? 3/2, that's a 1 right there. Subtract them, go ahead. X to the to the 1/2. Now, look how much we clean that up. Look back at the rule. How do I write that as a radical now? Going backwards. So I know at least x is inside, right? What's the exponent? 1e over I. You don't have to put the 2 there. It's the square root of x.
That's insane. I really would not think that.
Now, hey, that's 2 points. It's a 2-point question. All that work. Now you're starting to hopefully see why by the time we reach this point on the Regents, you should have passed already by the multiple choices, or be at least 3 or 4 points away from passing. All right, so now you're starting to see why you don't want to rely on parts 2 through 4 to pass. We good here?
How many multiple choices do you need to write just pass by the multiple choice?
13. But again, the scale could be different this year. Usually it's been 26 points to pass, but it could be, hey, 28, 30, I don't know. Okay, I really don't know. Could be lower. All right, but last couple years it's been 26 points to pass, which would be 13 out of the 24 multiple choice questions. So that doesn't give you much room. That's 9 questions. That's it. Questions from you guys here? Okay, take your stats packet for me. Right on front, I got 2 dates for you. What did I delete one? I got 2 dates for you. First one, quiz. Tuesday, December 17th. Yes, that's this Tuesday. Quiz, Tuesday, the 17th. And unit test, Tuesday, January 7th. We get back to the previous Thursday, we'll have the unit test that Tuesday. And then the rest of the time is we got almost 2 weeks to review.
That's pretty good.
We'll have 8, 9, 10, 13 through 17. And then probably maybe one more day. And I say to review, we're reviewing already. So, all right, we good? Okay, let's go. Let's dig right into it. Last unit before the midterm, or before the region. Stats. Yep. What happened to this? I'm missing a page. Nope. There we go. Okay, here we go. Guys, I'm interested to know how many hours of sleep a Bethlehem High School student gets per night. All right, I'm interested in that. Okay, how much sleep a Bethlehem High School student gets. Do you think it's likely that I'll be able to get to every single kid in the high school? No, absolutely not. All right. The entire high school would be what I call my population. All right, the entire high school. That's what I'm studying. But you guys said it's almost impossible to get to every kid, which I agree with. So what I'm going to have to do is get a smaller size of kids. All right, which is called my sample. Maybe that'll be I'll go to each homeroom and ask 4 or 5 kids. Go to each homeroom. All right. So the population is the total as a whole. My sample is a smaller part of that whole. Okay, because that's probably a little bit more likely for me to get done. So look at my example here. I want to see if you guys can identify the population sample of this study. You can read about the cars, and I'll ask you guys what you think. I'm going to test gas mileage on new cars sold in the US, and this group's going to take 845 of them and test them. So what would be the population here? Overall population. All new cars in the US. Yep. Got it. And that's highly unlikely that I get to every single new car in the US. So I got to get my find a sample size. And what sample is in this problem? What would be my sample in this one? I took all the new cars and only took 845 new cars. Yep. So that's my sample. So everyone okay with the difference between your population versus your sample? Population is everything you're trying to test or study versus the sample is a small portion of it. All right. All good in here? Okay. Let me go back to my how many hours of sleep a Bethlehem High School student gets. All right. I could ask them questions, but I got to be careful with my questions. They could be biased. All right. They could be biased. What makes a question biased? Well, it could be wordy. I could encourage you to answer a certain way. All right, encourage you to answer a certain way, or I could address more than one issue. So what I've done here, I have 3 questions, and I want your opinion on is it a biased question or not? Is it, is it leading? Is there more than one issue here? So the first one, do you think school needs a new gym and a football field? Biased or not? What do you think?
It's asking specific. That's what you asked. You could be like, what do you think the school needs to do? Right? Did you say that?
Well, what's the question that you're trying to answer?
It's not going to give you the answer to your question.
Do you think the school needs a new gym and football field? Okay, yes, it is biased. And here's why. What if you want one or the other? You don't really have an option here. What did we say? You want a new gym and a football. Well, what if I just want a new gym? Right? That's not an option here. So your opinion doesn't really count then. All right? Or like what if you want a football field and not a new gym? So basically it addresses more than one issue. Okay? If you just ask me if you want a new gym, that's pretty straightforward. It's a yes or no question. All right, versus gym and a football field. Okay, 2, don't you agree that the cafeteria should serve healthier food? I think we're all in agreement there, all right? Why biased?
Because you're encouraging.
Yeah, I want you to answer a certain way for me, all right? I want to encourage a certain response. And then what about the next one here? How often do you exercise? What do you think? Yeah, that's unbiased. Okay. All good? Okay. So how do I collect all these numbers about how much you guys sleep at night? Well, one way I could do it is called a sample survey. I just literally pass out a survey. Can you answer this for me? All right, you guys heard of the census before? All right, they try to get around to everyone, but it doesn't happen, so they send out a survey. I could do an experimental study. Hopefully you've talked about this in science class. Experimental study where you have two groups. You have a treatment group, and then you have a control group. So say you're testing a weight loss drug. I break you up into two groups. Guess what? One gets it and the other one doesn't. They're going to get something that they think is a weight loss drug, which is called a placebo, but it's not actually. And we're going to test the results. Okay, so I break them up into two. The other way I could do it is just what's called an observational study. So here's my example I gave to you guys. Does an SAT prep course result in higher SAT scores? Instead of dividing you up, giving you one group the course and the other group not the course, what I could go in and just say, can I see your SAT scores? Out of these guys or girls, how many took the SAT course or not? And just read the data. All right, so that's probably an easier way to do something like this versus trying to break you up into a experimental study. All right. Okay, so which one's the best here in this example? Which one's the best? I want to do a study on the effects on a baby whose mother used drugs during pregnancy. Okay, so which one's going to be the best here? I'll let you guys think about it. We'll talk. We do want to be ethical. So probably number one is out the window in all seriousness, correct? Do a control and a treatment. That's probably not the best way. What about a survey? What's wrong with the survey? Yeah, who's going to be telling the truth here? All right, especially something as serious in nature as this. So observational study, go in and observe. All right. If we know the mothers have used drugs during pregnancy, what's the effects on the baby? What's been the effect on the baby? All right. Who do you ask these questions to? Because you want the most random sample you can possibly find. You don't want everyone to look the same and sound the same. You want the most random sample of people you can get. So out of these four methods here, which one's the best one to get the most random one? I can't guarantee that it'll be random, but what's going to give us the best bet that it's going to be random here? Number two, selecting every fifth person entering the school building. Yes. Anybody think it was another one?
I thought it was 3%.
The first 30 people entering the cafeteria?
Really fast people. People who like food a lot. Yeah.
And also, if you're talking about school, we could also argue it may be, all because the schedules, the way they're set up, it might be a same group of people, same group. Like maybe all the band kids come in and eat at one time because they have a certain schedule. Okay, everyone good? Any issues there? Different types of studies we could do. All right, this is kind of the second half of today, and this is just a quick review of your good old mean, median, mode, everybody. Mean, median, mode. Mean is average. All right, so together here, I got a set of numbers here. How do you find the mean? Add them all up. Go ahead, everybody. Add them all up. Divide by the number of pieces you have, which is what, 8 here? 6, 7, 8. Yep, divided by 8. And 9.375. Yep. What's the median showing us? The middle number, but hold on. It's got to be from least to greatest. So the way that's written, we're not finding the median that way. So we got to put it in order for us. So let's see, 2, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Got it? But you'll notice as you search for the middle, you got two middle numbers, right? I can't have two medians. What? So find the average. If you have two middle numbers, we got to find the average of them. Yep. So the average here, or my median, 9.5. Perfect. Got to make sure they're in order first. And then how about the mode? That's the number that, or numbers that occur the most. Anything here? They all occur the same amount of time, so we say no mode. Okay, no mode. We all right? Okay, now we're going to get fancy, something you don't know. Here's my table now. Find the mean, median, mode from the table. It says without a calculator, but we're going to use it right away. First, just so you know what this means, you see how it says frequency? That means I have 4 56s. That means I have 9 73s. All right, that's going to be tiresome for all of us to write it out and punch it in our calculator. All right, but the calculator has things on it that will allow you to find the mean and the median right away. It will not find the mode for you because, give me a break, we should be able to find that pretty quickly. So based on our table, what's the mode here? What? 73, because it occurs 9 times, which is the most. Okay, grab that calculator. Here we go. Some new buttons on here, so you want to just focus in. Everyone see you got to have a stat button right to the right of your X? Stat for statistics. Look at that. And you want the first choice, which it's already highlighted, which is edit. It will bring you to this screen here. These are called your lists. This is where all your numbers go in. Okay? So you basically want the table that was provided to go into the list. All right? So list 1, L1, will be your data. 56, 73, all put in just once. 56, you can hit enter to go down. 73, 78, 82, and 86. Okay? L2, you want your frequency. So go right ahead. Scroll over to L2. What do I got? 4, 9, 755. I'll wait. Everyone make sure you get it in. I am always highly going to suggest you check it to make sure it matches, because the problem you kids have now is you type these in like you text, all right, which is darn quick. I could easily see a 55 here showing up because you guys going like crazy. All right, so just review it before you go on, all right, making sure everything matches up. All right, where do I find mean and median here? Go back to your stat button. But now you want to scroll over to calculate. You have a ton of options here. The first one variable stats, is where you will find the mean and the median. So you hit number 1 variable stats. And it will ask for some information because they want to know, where are these numbers located in your calculator? Everyone got the same screen up I have? Oh, okay, all right, yeah, that's because I did this 5th period, so that's why I'll leave it. There you go. All right, so L1 should already be in there. Now you got to tell the calculator what list is your frequency list in, because it's not going to assume it was 2, because you got 6 lists in there. Could be in any one. So everyone put it in 2, correct? Okay, so everyone see above your 2 button, you have L2. So second 2, it'll plug L2 in there. And then you go to calculate, and you'll see a bunch of dizzy numbers there. All of them will eventually talk about this unit, but we want mean first. That is X bar, the first one. X bar is your mean. So that'll tell you the mean, 75.6 about. So the mean, you might want to just make a note there, X bar, 75.6. And where can I find the median? Nowhere on that you're looking at. There's more values below. Keep going down. And then you should see it pretty quickly, right? Here?
Yeah.
That's because you have L2 in there. It needs to be L1. All right. Everybody good? See median? So the median is 78. Now, the question always comes up. I'm going to need to use these lists again. So how do I get those numbers out of there? You highlight L2. No. You do not want to hit delete because delete deletes the entire list. You'll never see it again. You will. You can, but you hit clear and enter. Clear. Because if you hit delete, it's going to go L1, L3 now. And we got to go through a process to get those bad boys back. Clear, enter, or you could just get rid of each one individually, but clear, enter is the way to swipe them out easily. Okay, all good. The way you get it back is you reset your memory. That's the, yeah, yes. Okay, all good. Okay, let's keep going because I'm starting something new this unit, which is I'm doing as many problems as I can, not giving you any free time because I found out that people don't do much outside of class. So I'm doing as much as I can in class then, if that's the case. Here we go. Which one do you think? Which scenario? Read them carefully. Which scenario is the best to use a survey? For the first one, which scenario is best to use a survey? And remember that I got a survey, I got experimental study, and observational. So which one is it the best to throw a survey at them? Thoughts? One would be what type of study? Watching people. Exit. Observational. Two would be a experimental, and then four would also be experimental. Yep. So three would be the best to throw a survey at them. Two, observational study. Which one would I want to do an observational study versus an experimental? Now remember, you're thinking to yourself, experimental, I'm going to break it up into two groups. So which one of these four choices is it probably going to be the hardest to do a control and a treatment group here? I think without a doubt, guys, what? Without a doubt, two. Yep. Not going to break them up and, okay, you're only going to get a bachelor's, you're only going to get an associate's, and we'll see how long this goes. All right, my orange truck. Read through it. What would be my population? What would be my smaller sample size? Be careful. This one always tricks kids up for some reason. Population. Overall, what are we doing here? Well, be careful. See, a lot of people think they either do the truck or they do the 3 pails. Which one's smaller? The 3. So that would be my sample, right? And where'd those 3 pails come from? The truckload. Yep. The bigger one is always your population. All right. All good? Okay, we're going to do I have a new toothpaste. It's got ingredient X in it. I want to do a controlled experiment to see if it works or not. How can you set it up for me? And this is, you can get creative here. But ready? Controlled experiment means you're going to have 2 groups. What are the 2 groups? You got the treatment group. So tell me something about the treatment group then. They're going to get toothpaste with X in it. Yep. And what's the other group? That's my control group. What am I going to give them? Crest.
Don't give them crest because then crest is different from the toothpaste.
Okay.
What? Because like crest might have different effects, right?
So toothpaste without X, yes. How about that? Because who knows, Crest might have X in it, whatever X is. Jesus. Yeah. Okay, we're good? The rest is finding the mean, median, mode, which takes you about 5 minutes if you want to work on it. On your own. I know that's asking a lot.